All right, let's talk about something that is, for so many of us, super personal and honestly just plain frustrating: weight management. We're going to dig into two really different ways of thinking about it. One is all about what's going on in your head, and the other is about the numbers and the data. We're going to see what the science says about what actually works in the long run. Yeah, I see you nodding. If your hand just shot up, you are definitely not alone. This is so common, it's practically the default experience. But here's the thing I really want you to hear. That is not a personal failure. It's biology. And understanding that biology is the very first step to finally breaking that cycle.
Okay, so let's get right into it. For decades, the story we've been sold is that losing weight is all about having more willpower. Just try harder, right? But the science is telling us a completely different story. It's way more complicated, because your body, it has its own agenda, and trust me, it's a powerful one.
Now, when you see a statistic like this, it might feel a little discouraging, but I want you to see it as the opposite. It's liberating. It's proof that the whole eat less, move more advice, while technically true, is missing a giant piece of the puzzle. The reason for this weight rebound isn't that you lost your discipline, it's that your body's ancient survival mechanisms just kicked into high gear. This right here is a game-changing concept. It's called set point theory. Think of it like a thermostat in your house. Your brain has a certain weight range that it thinks is normal and safe for you. When your weight drops below that, especially if it drops fast, alarm bells start ringing. Your body doesn't know you're on a health kick, it thinks you're in a famine, and it will pull every lever it has to push you back up to what it considers safe. And how exactly does it fight back? Oh, it's clever. First, your metabolism. That's your body's engine. It actually slows down to conserve every last calorie. At the exact same time, your brain starts messing with your appetite hormones. Ghrelin, that's the go-eat hormone, gets cranked way up. And leptin, the okay, I'm full hormone, gets turned way down. So what's the result? You feel hungrier, you feel less satisfied when you do eat, and you're burning fewer calories. It's a biological double whammy designed to make you regain the weight. So if going to war with your own biology is basically a losing battle, then what's the alternative? Well, let's explore Path A. This approach says the real answer isn't in another meal plan, but in a totally new mindset. It's all about changing your relationship with food from the inside out. This is called intuitive eating, and it kicks off with a pretty radical idea. Just reject diet culture. All of it. Throw out the rule books, the good food/bad food lists, all of it. Instead of fighting hunger, you learn to honor it as a crucial signal from your body. You give yourself total, unconditional permission to eat anything, which, funny enough, takes away the power of those forbidden foods. And you start to challenge that little voice in your head, the food police, that's always judging your choices. Now, a really important tool for this inner game is mindful eating. You know, it's the simple practice of just slowing down and actually paying attention. You notice the taste, the smell, the texture. And most importantly, you start to actually listen to your body's signals that say, hey, I'm getting full. It's about creating just a little bit of space between the urge to eat and the action of eating. And being mindful helps you start to tell the difference between two totally different kinds of hunger. Physical hunger is biological. It kind of builds up gradually, and pretty much any food will satisfy it. Emotional hunger, though, that's different. It's usually triggered by stress or boredom or sadness. It hits you like a ton of bricks. It craves something very specific, like that pint of ice cream, and it often sticks around even after you're physically full. Cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, gives us another really powerful mental tool. The whole idea behind it is this. It's not the stressful day that makes you overeat, it's the thought you have about the stressful day. The thought that says, I've had such a rough day, I deserve this entire pizza. That thought is what drives the action. Does that sound familiar to anyone? It's a classic sabotaging thought. It's what we call all or nothing thinking. You make one little slip up, and your brain immediately interprets it as a total failure. And that gives you the green light to just abandon ship for the rest of the day. It's the what the heck effect. But here's where you can flip the script with CBT. You catch that thought, and you challenge it. You replace it with a more helpful, realistic response. You tell yourself, hey, one cookie doesn't derail anything. Getting back on track with my next meal is the real win. You shift your focus from perfection to resilience. And that simple mental pivot can stop a tiny slip from turning into a major slide.
Okay, let's switch gears. Now we're going to look at the other side of the coin, Path B. This approach is less about the inner world of psychology and much more about practical, real-world strategies you can see and measure. This is the outer game, mastering your habits, your kitchen, and what's actually on your plate. A central idea here is something called energy density, and this is a total game changer because it's not about eating less food, it's about eating more food for fewer calories. Foods with low energy density, think fruits, vegetables, salads, broth-based soups. They have a lot of water and fiber, which gives them weight and volume, but not a ton of calories. This means you can physically fill up your plate and your stomach without overdoing it on the calories.
Just look at these two meals. It's the perfect example. On the left, you've got a pretty standard burger and fries. It weighs just under 500 grams and comes in at over 1,000 calories. But look at the meal on the right, a huge bowl of chicken curry with tons of broccoli and rice. It's way heavier, over 700 grams, yet it has more than 300 times fewer calories. You literally get to eat more, feel fuller, and still come out ahead. It's pretty amazing. And you can forget about packing food scales and measuring cups everywhere you go. You have a perfect, personalized portion control tool with you at all times. Your own hand. A portion of protein is about the size of your palm. Carbs, a cupped handful. Fats, about the size of your thumb. And for vegetables, aim for about 2 fists worth. It's simple, it's customized to you, and it's always there when you need it.
Here's another super simple visual tool, the balanced plate. The formula couldn't be easier. Just fill half your plate with veggies. A quarter of your plate gets a lean protein, and the last quarter is for some high-fiber carbs. That's it. It's a foolproof way to build a satisfying, nutrient-packed meal without having to count or track a single thing. Of course, none of these strategies work in a bubble. We have to talk about the foundations. Good quality sleep is absolutely non-negotiable. Just one night of bad sleep can send those hunger hormones leptin and ghrelin into a total tailspin, making you crave junk food the next day. And finding a way to move your body that you actually like to do, that's the key to boosting your metabolism and keeping your results for good. These aren't bonus features. They are the bedrock of success. Okay, so we've got Path A, the inner game of mindset and mindfulness. And we've got Path B, the outer game of metrics and habits. So, which one's the right one? Well, what if I told you that was the wrong question? The most powerful approach isn't about choosing a side, it's about blending them together. I love this quote from a user on Reddit because it just nails this idea perfectly. This person uses metrics, calorie counting, not as a strict set of rules, but as a tool for learning. It's just information, a data point, to help them make a more informed choice. It's not a grade on a report card. That's the mind and metrics working in harmony. The real magic happens when you realize these aren't opposing teams, they're players on the same team. You can use the practical hand method to portion your food and then use mindfulness to actually notice when you're feeling satisfied. You can use CBT to challenge those thoughts like, I'm just too tired to work out, to help you finally build a consistent exercise habit. One side makes the other side stronger. Because at the end of the day, this whole thing isn't about finding the perfect diet that someone else created. It's about using all of these tools, from both the inner and outer game, to build your own personal blueprint. The only plan that's ever going to work is one that's flexible enough and enjoyable enough to fit into your actual life, not just for a few weeks, but for good. And that's really the big idea I want to leave you with today. What if we all stopped searching for some magic answer out there and started using these tools to become our own best experts? Thanks so much for tuning in.